Let me tell y'all something. I've been watching a lot of my previous videos that I've made in the past because there's been a lot of news that's been developing that I previously covered in the past, and now that they're developing and new information comes out, I have to always go to like my old videos and just watch it, like rewatch it, just to see what my opinions were then and what opinions I may have now based on the new information or the developing story that may arrive. And let me tell you, after this new information that we found out about the quadriplegic man that was previously arrested for battery, let me tell you, for the most part, I gave this man a little bit too much benefit of the doubt here. Because after this body cam footage just dropped, let me tell you, it is wild. This guy is a menace. I'm just gonna let you know, we're going to be doing a breakdown for 1, and 2, just as a heads up, my opinions may have changed. And of course, that's a normal thing, you know, when new information arises and you look at that new information, it's okay for opinions to change, and we're just going to explore that a bit. Also, if you want to watch the video that I previously covered on this situation, you can check it out. The link in the description is down below in the bio.
Police say it's battery. That quadriplegic man says that's not the case, and now we see the video.
So take me.
Hey, chill.
I just hit you again.
Okay,
What the
so
you do about
tell
it?
you what's gonna happen.
For the first time, we are seeing
fuck?
body camera video when Miami-Dade police say they were assaulted by a quadriplegic man. A case so unusual, even the judge at first appearance seemed surprised.
Now, at face value, it's very shocking to hear that a quadriplegic person would be capable of hitting somebody. You would imagine that a quadriplegic person has no control over their limbs, so you would think to yourself, how could a person who's paralyzed from the neck down be able to harm somebody? Well, you know, El Valiente, he's a YouTuber and also a musician, is on a motorized wheelchair. So he's able to assault the police officer using that wheelchair. I did cover in my previous video that the motorized wheelchairs typically can move from around 3 to 8 miles per hour, which is almost a near equivalent of how fast a human runs on average, give or take. If a wheelchair, or motorized wheelchair at that, is charging at you, say at top speeds of 8 miles per hour, you could be capable of hurting somebody with that speed. Not to mention, it's a motorized wheelchair. That's a very heavy piece of machinery on wheels. So yeah, police officers, after looking at that video there, and this is a body cam footage, mind you, of course they're gonna take that as assault. And he just said, I'm like, oh, I hit you, what you gonna do? I'm gonna hit you again. That shit is actually crazy, because when the news first came to him about this whole situation, they were asking him like, hey, did you hit, you know, the police officers with your wheelchair like they alleged that you did? And he was like, absolutely not, no I didn't. And I'm like, that's crazy, because the body cam shows that you deliberately did it. And you, no pun, I'm sorry, this is not a pun, this is not a reference or anything, but he did that shit with his whole chest here. He really just rammed that wheelchair to the officer unapologetically, and he was ready to double down on it.
According to the report, Amasa and his mother, seen here in red, were involved in an argument. But when mom is put in handcuffs, this happens.
Nah, bro, don't fucking do that.
Brian,
Nah,
hey,
man.
stop hitting me with the
No,
chair,
man,
Brian.
stop doing
That's a
that.
battery on
You
you.
just said
When we interviewed Amasa back then, he told us this.
They claimed that I hit them with my wheelchair.
Did you?
I absolutely did not.
So, just a quick backstory here. Basically, Valiant and his mother got in an argument. They got in an argument and police got involved, and they eventually arrested the mother. Now, as the police officers were arresting, you know, his mother, Valiant was having some sort of like altercation and some back and forth with police officers at the scene. So you saw in that video, he was right up against the police officer, and you could barely see what happened there because only the police officer then turned around with the camera to say like, yo, like, ease up with the wheelchair. Only for him to say like, I didn't do anything, like, you need to back up, In my previous video, I was talking about how there may have been like a miscommunication, or they may have bumped into each other, and one is assuming that they were ramming, you know, the motorized wheelchair to the officer, and then things just escalated from there, and it didn't have to result into a whole arrest. That was probably what happened there. But then later on, you saw that he was really bumping heads with another police officer and literally just drove the wheelchair to the police officer. There's nothing you can say about that. It's crazy. He did ram his motorized wheelchair to a police officer. That was a straight up fucking lie.
The report stated that you spit at an officer.
Right. So I suffer from acid reflux, so I normally spit. And I spat like the totally different direction.
But this is the video.
You want to listen or not?
Bull fucking shit. So he said that he spat in a completely different direction. He said, looking at him this way, he said he spat this way. But when you see the body cam footage, he spat in the opposite direction towards the police officer, and he meant that. You can see the police officer reacted. They were like, "Yo, whoa, what's going on here? Yo, what's good with you?" Like, that is crazy. He lied about the entire thing, from hitting the police officer with a wheelchair, saying like, "Oh, I didn't spit, I have like acid reflux, so I just spit sometimes, I just spit, but I spat in a different direction. I promise you I did." Even if that whole acid reflux thing is true, it doesn't eliminate the fact that he spat in the direction of the police officer. And he didn't do it because of acid reflux. He did it maliciously. He did it with ill intent to spit on the police officer. Like, that is absolutely insane that he really thought that he was gonna get away with that. Maybe he didn't know there was a body cam present, but my god, dude, like, you're talking about police officers. You don't think police officers have some sort of body cam footage that they could use against you, especially when you're assaulting one and there's multiple police officers around you to even say like, yeah, you did spit at a police officer. You did hit a police officer with your motorized wheelchair. What are you talking about?
Amasa also told us he felt humiliated during his arrest.
Are you laughing at me, bro?
Because he was separated from his motorized wheelchair, which he says was damaged when it was put on a flatbed. You see one officer appearing to text someone, joking that they were going to put him on the tow truck.
Yeah, because
Officers later seen inspecting their legs. Amasa charged with 2 counts of battery on a law enforcement officer.
El Valiente did claim that he was humiliated earlier, mainly because of the way they handled the arrest. He said something along the lines of like they tried to put his hands behind his back and he wasn't able to do it. They tried to forcefully do so, but he couldn't because he's paralyzed and it hurts. He had discomfort doing so. So what they did was they separated him from his wheelchair and they called in like an ambulance or the fire department to put him in a truck, you know, like an emergency vehicle, and then they were going to take his motorized wheelchair and put it on a tow truck because I think they couldn't put the two together. Now, the new information here is that the police officer was texting someone and saying like, "Yo, like, this shit is hilarious, we might put him on a tow truck," you know, just for shits and giggles. And alright, like, that's kind of messed up, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I can imagine what the police officer was going through because it's hilarious to have someone on a wheelchair really trying to pick a fight with you. He's probably messaging this dude like, "Yo, like, I really had a quadriplegic dude try to pick a fight with me. Like, that's crazy. Like, he had a whole motorized wheelchair and he hit my leg. And, well, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not gonna hit him. I feel as if it's like a handicap match in some extent. No pun intended here, but that's crazy." So now he's basically, you know, saying that he felt humiliated with the way how they handled the arrest. They manhandled him. That was specifically his choice of words that he used. They apparently manhandled him. But you can see all they did was just kind of just lift him up and put him on a stretcher. And they took the motorized wheelchair and they put it on a tow truck, and that's about it. But they also, or El Valiente also claimed that his motorized wheelchair was also damaged in the process of that. They never really specified what that damage was or the degree of the damage or anything like that. But anyways, let's move on to the final part of the clip.
And we are told that corrections did not have a transport van to transport Amasa with his wheelchair, and that's why officers on scene called fire rescue to take him and called a tow truck to take the chair. We're told that there's another hearing in this case scheduled right here for tomorrow.
Now, this body cam footage or this news report took place just a few days ago, so the hearing already took place like the day after this report. But that is absolutely crazy. Hey, I wanted to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, and listen, I'm eating my words. I was wrong. It is what it is. I really wanted to give this guy the benefit of the doubt. He seemed like a great dude and everything, and then one thing led to another with the whole body cam thing, and I was like, eesh, dude. Like, you really didn't give us any room to defend yourself. It's like, damn, dude, you kind of fucked up. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you lied to the general public about this. Like, this is not a good look for you at all. I don't know what he's gonna do here. I don't know how his defense lawyer is going to, you know, spin this or is going to defend him now, because everything is all on footage. So his defense lawyer is probably working overtime on this case. Rather short video. I just wanted to touch on this because someone brought it up on my comment section and I just saw it and I just thought I had to make a video about it just to clear some information. There was new information here and I just had to share it with y'all. But until then, that's about it. Peace.